anytime I fail at something, I just keep going. Because failure, what they say, is a first attempt in learning, is what fail means. So so I became a flight instructor, something that I thought I never would be able to do, being that, and as a pilot as well, something I thought I would never be able to do, because when I grew up as a twin. My twin sister is autistic and she's unable to talk. And I actually grew up with speech problems where certain words I couldn't pronounce. I would stumble over my words sometimes, and now here I am talking to ATC in a plane and multitasking and doing all that. I went through speech therapy at North End Elementary, and to say this is I do everything I do for my twin, because if I didn't straighten up and do right, I would be wasting talent that she could have had. So as I was growing up in Roxborough, I found myself in places I shouldn't have been. I found myself in cars I shouldn't have been in. I found myself around friends I shouldn't have been around at times, and almost got me in trouble while I was in the transition of going through college, and I had to cut all that loose, and I focused. And I thought about my sister, like, what if she could do this instead of me, but she's unable to. Let me turn this around, at least for her, at least for my family, and show them that I'm not a waste. So I did that, and it's actually humbled me. And anytime I fail at something, I just keep going. Because failure, what they say, is a first attempt in learning, is what fail means. So I teach students at the university. I've been doing it for 4 to 5 years. I even was interim assistant chief flight instructor at Elizabeth City State University. I became a Gold Seal flight instructor 2 years ago, which is a high honor amongst all flight instructors nationally and internationally, if you per se, where students that you have an 80% pass rate at least, and you maintain that. And I started out slow as a flight instructor, where I had students struggle, and I took those struggles home. I read the books, I practiced my teaching, and I brought it back to the classroom and back into the airplane where I was instructing them, and actually got better. And I was known as what they say, the GOAT of flight instruction at Elizabeth City State University. I'm proud of it, but I'm not prideful. You know, I still work on my craft each and every day. I had an opportunity back in February. I got hired by PSA Airlines to continue on and get my airline transport pilot certificate. At this same time, my fiance and I were expecting our first child. I actually only have one, but we was expecting, his name is RJ, or Reginald Wayne Thomas Jr., but we call him RJ. While I was in training, she went into labor. It just so happened I was through the first phase of training, so I could actually go home and be there 5 days, spend some time, and then here I am coming back to training to finish it out for my airline transport pilot certificate, which it takes about 2.5 months. And I was in Dayton, Ohio for 1 month, doing all the ground stuff, learning the airplane systems and learning their company policies, rules, regulations, any federal aviation regulations that apply to airline operation, I was learning. And then after you pass that, you do a knowledge check, or a knowledge test, where you're sitting in one-on-one with a check instructor, and they're quizzing you on anything that they possibly can about that airplane and that operation. And that only took 2 hours, and passed it. went to the sims, did simulator stuff for about a month in Charlotte, and I passed that, got to my check ride, and I passed the check ride, and I got to fly the actual jet with real passengers on board for a little while, until I was let go. Right now they're overstaffed in the airline, so they have too many people working. They actually overhired too many at one point, so now the airline's starting to slow down. And right now I'm back at the university flight instructor and looking for my next opportunity. So that's what I'm doing right now.